Hello there. Welcome to Blitz Transmissions. This is the Blitzcast. I believe this is episode 12. Before we get into the content of this episode, make sure, as always, that if you're not subscribed, to subscribe on my YouTube channel, as well as check out my social media, which is in the description below. That includes my Instagram page, my collection page called Blitz Bounties for Instagram, not to be confused with the Blitz Bounties series of live streams that I do here on the YouTube channel. I also have an X page if X is what you're into, and I have a Discord. It is free to join, and it gets you in touch with awesome Star Wars fans. I am joined once again by popular demand, the one and only Jennifer. Hello, Jen.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well. Is it really popular demand or convenience? Be honest. Be honest.
For the people, it's popular demand. For me, it's convenience.
Well, I appreciate finally being popular once in my life.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. It's a late night.
It is, right now, it is 12 o'clock midnight. This is literally 6 hours before this is scheduled to come out. We are recording this because we are about to go out of town for 3 days. When you're watching this, we will probably be on the road driving to a wedding in New Jersey.
New Jersey.
This place is a dump. Are we in New Jersey? If you can name what movie that quote is from, or the character that says that line, I will give you a heart in the comment section.
$100.
$100 in Bitcoin.
Yeah. How are you doing, Tommy?
Well, today I learned that fentanyl is bad. So that's one of the knowledge I'm going to pass on to you guys.
Don't do it.
Don't snort fentanyl.
Snort.
When your 6-year-olds and 4-year-olds are in the house.
Oh my God.
Unsupervised.
Is it snorting or is it?
There's all types of ways that people ingest illicit substances.
I guess we shouldn't give ideas.
No, let's not. Let's not. We are not we have not passed that 10-minute mark where YouTube will demonetize you. Okay. Because we're totally a monetized channel, guys.
On our way.
On our way. We are close, guys. We are really close to being able to monetize the channel. Anyway, Jen, we have some Star Wars news this week. The Star Wars news includes, but is not limited to, more Skeleton Crew TV spots and roundtables have been coming out this last week. They're pulling me in. And I don't know if I can come back. Here's the new Black Series Neil figure. Jen says he's scary. I think he's...
I don't really like looking at him.
You'll see this review on Monday, and then you'll see the review for the new Pirate Captain Brutus Black Series figure on Sunday. So tomorrow, if you watch this on the day that this podcast came out, these figures are awesome, and Pirate Captain Brutus is the best figure of 2024. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm really tired. I'm out of it. So let's lock in. So yeah, we had some more Skeleton Crew stuff this week. Not much else in the way of Star Wars news. It's been nice to have a little bit of light weeks without constant, Disney and Lucasfilm said they're pulling back on the volume of content that they're making, and I've been really enjoying it as a fan. It's given me a chance to appreciate a lot of stuff. So with that out of the way, Jen, let's talk about this week's topic.
Okay.
Which you came up with.
I did. So I was trying to think of something funny that we could talk about, that we could just yap about.
Yeah.
That didn't require a whole lot of thinking. Because I knew that we would be recording this late at night.
Yeah.
So I came up with using Star Wars characters to give relationship advice, or taking relationship advice from Star Wars characters and canon couples
Because
in Star Wars.
if you didn't know, we are both quite the catch, and I've always been extremely popular with the ladies.
Oh, yeah. I've been a dime since
11th grade.
11th grade.
She didn't want me, though.
Obviously, we're two very outgoing, charismatic people that everyone wanted to be with, and we just found each other first.
It's hard being so...
Gotta, like, push the people
being
away.
such a main character all the time.
Right.
You know?
Had to, like, be like, sorry, I'm taken now. I know you want to be all up in my DMs.
Sorry, I don't talk to doofuses. I talk to...
You're a bozo. No good for me.
So we're going to look at some Star Wars couples, Star Wars relationships, and talk about what we think of them. I think we just need to jump right into the meat and potatoes of this topic.
Okay.
Anakin and Padme's relationship is an awful, toxic relationship.
It's toxic. It's not something to be desired. They're two hot people. Let's be objective about this. Okay. This is why I wanted to talk about this. These are two objectively attractive people.
Okay.
Like, if you're like, what's a hot person look like?
Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like, your brain initially is like, those are two hot people. They must be good people and they must be in love. Which is what they want you to think. And this is actually a psychological thing, a social psych thing. Did you know that I have a psych degree? Where your brain, when you look at a more attractive person, you believe that they are a better person than they might be.
Because being attractive is nice.
Attractive equal good. Which is why you guys think that we're super nice people.
Yeah, that's how we trick people, you know? Into thinking that we're nice.
Yeah. So I think besides it being like Hollywood and you want to hire really hot people and the only people to really choose from are hot people, I think it's very intentional that Anakin is like an attractive person, right?
Yeah.
And so that you trust him more, even when he's saying super toxic things. And by toxic, I mean murderous and corrupt.
I killed them. I killed them all. I'm not going to say the whole line.
Yeah.
And not just the men. No, I'm just kidding. But the women. And the children, too.
So, like, okay. The other thing, though.
They're like animals.
So Anakin is, you know, we know that he's unhinged, toxic, whatever word you want to use there. But Padme's not that much better. Okay, in a relationship sense.
Padme with Rush Clovis was probably the most dastardly relationship thing I think I've ever seen.
That was crazy. Okay, so I've been clearly have a lot of thoughts about this.
We've talked about it before when we were watching the Clone Wars together.
Yeah, because you know, when you watch the movies, you're like, how can Anakin do this? Like, you know,
how can Anakin literally commit domestic violence against?
How can he turn against Padme? But then watching the Clone Wars and seeing the stuff that Padme pulled, you know, I can kind of see where...
Not to play devil's advocate.
I can see where
God.
Anakin would be more anxious. He's already... Okay, I just looked it up to make sure I was using the right words. Anakin's an anxious attachment style. But
which is
he is like very obviously fearful of the future, doesn't want anyone else to get in the way of that.
Yeah.
I can look up the definition if you need more words. But they said might do things to, like, jeopardize their relationship because they're so anxious.
Right.
But anyway, so Anakin's already an anxious attachment style, and let's think about it. You know, he grew up as a slave.
It's not a very stable upbringing.
With his mother as a slave.
My mother died.
His mom dies. He's raised, you know, in this Jedi world, but he, like, doesn't really fit in.
He's raised as a monk at 10 years old.
Yeah, but he's also too old. You know, he's older than the people that are at his level, right?
Yeah.
You know, so he's like, he doesn't really fit in with the kid. This is me filling in blanks. He doesn't fit in with the kids. He's like the chosen one, but he doesn't have the skill yet. You know, that would cause some psychological issues, right? Mm-hmm. But then Padme, who's all good, and she's the voice of the people, whatever. But then she goes on and makes Anakin jealous, and also leads on, what's his name? Clove.
Rush Clovis.
Rush Clovis. Because she knows that he's into her. And they had something in the past.
And her and Anakin were fighting.
And they were it was when they were
Rush
fighting.
came along in season 6. Mm-hmm. In the Lost missions of the Clone Wars.
So, moral of the story is,
these are two people that should have never really been together in the first
they're hot people, but that's really all that's going for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, okay, this is not a Padme hate train, but it's like a Padme problematic train.
She's problematic.
She's problematic. Why are you wearing that sexy outfit to go tell your teenage almost boyfriend that you don't want to be with?
Well, the craziest part was, like, he was like 19 and she was like 25.
Exactly. That's okay. Yeah. You're gonna go tell this teeny bopper that
a freshman in college
that I don't want to be with you in this little choker black dress.
This is more like Jen's schizo podcast episode.
You told me to take the lead.
Yeah, I did.
I'm taking the lead.
People like when you take the lead.
People
are going to get a kick out of this.
I have a lot of opinions. So that's my thoughts on Anakin and Padme. I think they had good moments, but they're like any other couple that you see that, like, fight, and when they talk about their relationship, you're like, oh, that's, like, not good.
Well, I think the biggest part, though, is they were keeping their relationship a secret, and everyone knows that when you do that, your relationship is destined to fail. Like, Jen knew that I was so hot and popular that... Oh, is something funny?
In what timeline? In what multiverse?
I used to be a huge internet celebrity with a huge following, and now I'm, like, starting from the ground up again.
And that's what pulled me in.
That is, you were like, whoa. And I'm like...
And how many followers do you have?
Sorry, I keep my fans at a certain distance from me. I can't let you too close. I can't let you get close.
You have that many subscribers?
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Tell me more.
She wanted to keep things on the down low because she didn't want to be bombarded by, like, paparazzi.
The fans
of 13.
They would threaten me.
Well, you know,
all the ladies that are watching,
all of the 0% of my female audience,
all the women would be bombarding me, threatening me because they want you so bad.
So I get it from that perspective, you know? It's hard, you know?
So hard.
But yes, keeping on a serious note, when you have a secret relationship, it's doomed to fall apart.
It seems all like, you know, fun or whatever.
There's the excitement at first.
There's excitement. But in reality, if you're trying to start a life with children involved, why would you think that's a thing that can happen? Yeah. So don't keep relationship secret. And if your partner is like, we need to keep it secret, that's a red flag.
On the inverse of Padme and Anakin, unless you had more to say.
I was gonna say, and if your boyfriend wakes up, boyfriend or girlfriend wakes up with a bad dream and says, "Oh my gosh, you cheated on me in my dream," that's also a red flag. Okay. What were you gonna say?
The inverse of Anakin and Padme is probably one of my favorite Star Wars couples, Obi-Wan and Satine. Mm-hmm. Let me just say, they are an example of a great relationship because they were willing to set aside their feelings for each other so that they could each reach their own personal goals.
Okay. This is the La La Land
paradox.
Because what do you choose?
Love
or your career?
Or your career.
If you have to choose. And which is right? I guess it depends on your priorities. For Obi-Wan and Satine, they chose their careers because Obi-Wan had his responsibility to Anakin and the Jedi Order. And Satine is ruling a planet and trying to bring a not so peaceful people to become a more peaceful nation. Mm-hmm. You know, those are very noble goals. However, if your priority is love and family and starting a new life together, that might trump your
Obi-Wan and Satine are what Anakin and Padme probably should have done.
That's true. Okay. So
they honestly represent what Anakin and Padme should have been. You know, what probably should have been the best decision.
Unselfish.
Yeah.
But
they're the inverse.
Okay. This brings up the idea, like, is the idea of being detached from your emotions, is that an unselfish thing?
No, I think Obi-Wan is in tune with his emotions. I just don't think he really knew how to, like, talk to Satine about his emotions.
Okay. I just mean, like, the whole idea of turning away from those types of relationships for the Jedi Order.
If that's what you want. If that's what, you know, if you're part of the Jedi Order and you really truly believe in it and part of the Jedi Code is no attachments, then you either are a Jedi or you're not.
I'm not a Jedi.
Neither am I.
I'm very clingy. The truth comes out. But I mean, it's the La La Land paradox. Like, okay, so thinking of this in a relationship advice perspective. Mm-hmm. Say I get a job like that requires me to move for forever or for a long period of time.
Okay.
And it's like my dream job, but you have already like started making your way up the ranks of the police department.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the... I mean, I guess we're in a different place in our lives, but that's kind of the discussion of, well, you can't follow me. This is also dramatic, you know. I think La La Land and Obi-Wan Satine are just dramatic.
Wow.
I think you can figure it out. It's my simplified version. I think you can, like, if you want to, you can figure it out. I'm serious. Do you disagree?
Not necessarily, but like, I don't know. I think it's a lot easier for me as a Star Wars fan to understand, you know?
I guess.
I get it, like, from the Jedi's perspective, because the attachment is a huge, like, open door to the dark side. Mm-hmm. It's not they're just like, you know, they're not just trying to punish the Jedi, like, abstain from this for no reason at all. It's like, well, no, attachments are an easy way for the dark side to corrupt you. We saw that happen with Anakin. That was his weakness, was Padme. Well,
I guess the difference is Anakin's attachment to Padme is for himself, you know? Like, his fear is that something would happen to her, and it's not that she would die and that is hard for him. It's that she would not be in his life anymore.
Yeah. It's a selfish love.
It's a selfish love of...
Where Obi-Wan's is selfless.
Yeah. So, so that's the difference with that attachment. I think you can have romantic attachment without it being...
But there's also that line where Obi-Wan tells Satine, if you would have said the word, I would have left the Jedi Order. You know?
I know. What could have been?
And then she was impaled.
And, oh, look, I'm impaled. It's from Frozen.
I know. Oh, look, I've been impaled.
Can I talk about my favorite couple?
I already know.
That's Hera and Kanan.
Hera and Kanan are Jen's favorite Star Wars couple.
Hera and Kanan, okay, they're no notes. They're the real deal. Obviously devastated by his sacrifice at the end, but it's like, it feels different than like Obi-Wan and Satine. It feels different because they allowed time together without it being this huge thing. Like, they had normal disagreements, but they communicated with each other. They clearly were emotionally intelligent. Mm-hmm. And in those moments where they needed growth, they talk through it, whether if it was just between the two of them or with their group.
Yeah.
They just, oh my gosh. I love a subtle slow burn, because I knew that they were, like, together because we had watched Ahsoka beforehand, and you were like, that's her son. And I was like, oh, okay. But, so I knew that they were kind of together, but I just love the subtle bits throughout the whole show. And I just like that, you know, they were able to, mostly, like, Hera called out Kanan when he was starting to get intense, you know, and they were able to talk through it. It wasn't...
Or have moments about their kids. Mm-hmm. Which they call Ezra and Zeb and Sabine the kids.
The kids, yeah. I love that. I love seeing a healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm. From both sides. Mm-hmm. You know? It's great.
Yeah. And, I mean, their last moment is just... Tears streaming down my face.
You know what relationship I want to talk about?
What?
Zero the Hutt and Cy Snoodles.
So that's an interesting take.
You know I always love you.
That was such a shocker. Because I
No, we can talk about Hera and Kanan again.
I'm serious about, because, like, isn't Zero the Hutt supposed to be representing, like, someone...
What are you getting at?
like he was, like, a drag queen, right?
He might have been.
Okay.
I never got that vibe. But
You never got that vibe?
I don't spend too much of my time watching drag queens, though, so...
That's on you.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled program.
No, I'm serious, though. Anyway.
Anyways. Hera and Kanan are great. If I were to give relationship advice on what Star Wars couple would be a model couple, I think it would be Hera and Kanan. Because those two are individuals, and they never are sacrificing their own personalities or beliefs for each other. For the sake of each other. They're different, but they make each other better because they're different. It lets them kind of... them butting heads with each other is a good thing. And they have different backgrounds as well. You know? Hera grew up kind of in nobility. She was, but she also grew up with war. Her entire life was war. And so was Kanan's.
Yeah.
But Kanan grew up much more modest lifestyle. You know?
And I just love, like, after Kanan is blinded, like, just that whole journey with Hera of helping him. And I thought that was a really cool... subplot.
Definitely.
So, and speaking of individuals, the obvious one is Han and Leia.
Han and Leia. That's quite an interesting one because then they get, like, divorced between the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And Han becomes, like, a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, that was
the thing.
Boo to
But
that.
we're gonna, like, ignore that. We're gonna talk about original trilogy. Han and Leia.
We haven't watched it together, so I'm gonna forget that I have ever seen it. I was thinking about this before we started recording. Like Han and Leia are those two, like, very strong personalities.
Yeah.
They're
bullheaded.
They're very bullheaded. They fight all the time, but for some reason it works. So, like, thinking of those people in real life, of there's the toxic couple like Padme and Anakin that fight in, like, a weird way that's like, oh no, girl, that's, like, not okay.
Like force choking.
Yeah, but he said he said that, like, he, like, hit his mom, but, like, he was so sweet to me afterwards. You know what I mean?
He told me he, like, killed a whole village of women and children.
Me. He loves me, and he, like, wants to, like, force people to, follow my rules. And I was like, okay, like, that's kind of weird, but, like, he was so hot in that field.
He was riding the tick cow.
There's, like, that couple, and then there's the Leia and Han couple that are, like, they just, like, bicker all the time, but also they work, and you're like, no, they like each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, your worshipfulness.
Like, yeah. So, I think they're a good couple. I like their progression. I think there is always a downside to very stubborn people. But if you're in it for the long haul, which Han and Leia are, and they never broke up with each other, you can make it work. It's just, it takes a lot of communication because there can be a lot of miscommunication with stubbornness.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Han and Leia?
Han and Leia have a great relationship dynamic because it's not both of them are starstruck for each other, kind of goo-goo-gaga-ing at each other the entire time. It's very it's very fun to watch them on screen together because they're in a way they're both playing hard to get and at different points. Mm-hmm. It's very give and take, and it kind of builds up that tension between them, and they're like enjoying it as the movie goes on. Mm-hmm. In Empire specifically. And then of course, you got like Han thinks that Leia has a thing for Luke in Return of the Jedi. So there's that whole plot's funny too, they work because their personalities match. That there's some relationship advice. Would be find a personality type that matches yours. Just because you meet someone and they have one common interest with you, or they, but they're really, really nice looking, that does not amount to anything,
It don't.
It don't.
I mean, like, there's the whole idea of, like, opposites attract, and I think...
To a degree.
I think a more accurate statement would be, like, find the person that balances you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, instead of opposites attract, because, like, I think we don't have the same personality, but we have we're on the same wavelength.
About a lot of things.
A lot of things. But also, like, I react in a much different way than the way you react.
No. I don't know what she's talking about. I say what's on my mind. And that's how I react.
I over-explain.
Jen worries a little too much.
I psychoanalyze myself, and then I have to... Yeah. We don't have to make this a therapy session, but, so, like, you want your personalities to mesh.
Complement each other.
You want their, temperaments to balance out in some ways.
Yep.
You need someone who's a little bit more bullheaded and straightforward, but you also need someone who is strategic.
Can balance that out.
Yeah.
You're a planner. I'm very wing it.
Yeah. And, like, not saying that we're the blueprint, but if you needed one, you can look to us.
Not to flex or anything.
Yeah. And then, like, obviously the best couple in all of Star Wars.
Hera and Kanan.
Ben Solo and Rey.
Boo. Not funny. Not cool. Everyone just clicked off the video because you said that. Everyone clicked off the podcast. Nice.
I will say, side note, my favorite thing, and I discovered this, like, after the Rise of Skywalker came out.
The Riz of Skywalker?
Yeah. That there was an influx of books where the cover picture is a dark-haired, slightly longer-haired man and a light brown hair girl with a bun in her hair. And I saw a post on something that was like, if you see this, it definitely used to be a Kylo Ren Rey
Reylo.
Like fan fiction, or at least inspired by them. And now I can't unsee it.
Here's one.
The Love Hypothesis is the specific one.
You ready for this one?
What?
One of my favorite couples, a model couple for me, is Osha and Kymir from The Acolyte. Right?
See, that one feels even ickier than mine.
That one's pretty bad. That one's pretty bad.
Because, like, Why? Okay.
We're not even gonna get into it. We don't even need to.
We're joking. We're
Forget
joking.
about it.
We're joking.
It's okay.
There was another one. Oh, Ahsoka and
Lux Bonteri.
Lux. Their little dabble.
They had a little fling going on.
Fling.
There. Yeah.
There's some messiness with them. Like he was like talking to
Steela. Saw Gerrera's sister.
Yeah. Saw.
It's a good thing he didn't get involved with that family.
Yeah, thank God.
Dodged a bullet there, brother.
Crazy dude. I thought that was a cute thing to include. Because also thinking about Anakin's timeline and the way that Ahsoka fits into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to think about her having a little fling that like kind of just doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, like they have what, like 4 episodes?
They have the one where Padme takes Ahsoka to Raxus and she first meets him. They have like a little spark.
Yeah.
Then they have their whole arc on
With
is that planet Dantooine? No,
don't ask me.
Maybe not.
With with the camp.
Yeah. And then they have that one episode with Death Watch.
Yeah, when she beheads everyone.
4 Mandalorians, she beheads them all.
I like think about that scene, like
It's
that
a cool
shot,
scene. It's a badass scene.
just randomly. Yeah, I thought that was a cool, because it's like a real thing. I mean, it's normal to have these feelings.
Well, and we see Ahsoka struggle with it, and Anakin always kind of leans into the, you know, I get it more than you think I would.
Yeah.
And, she, you know, obviously Ahsoka kind of knows what's going on with Anakin and Padme, but, you know, but then also Ahsoka still, though, she makes the right decision to not pursue that because it's not the Jedi way, you know? Anakin couldn't let that go, you know?
Yeah. It cracks me up whenever I see a post that's like, I just want what Anakin and Padme have. I'm like, don't.
People see the promo photos from Attack of the Clones, and they think that, oh, they look so happy together.
They're not.
They're not.
It's so, like...
But without their unhappy relationship, we wouldn't have Luke and Leia.
Yeah, but also some people say that Revenge of the Sith is their comfort movie, and that doesn't sit right with me.
Why is that?
Because I bawl watching Revenge of the Sith, and I can't imagine just, like, casually watching it and watching him kill kids and, like, just any of that as a comfort movie. A comfort movie is the first Harry Potter, or...
Comfort movie is like Deadpool.
No.
A comfort movie is
Pride and Prejudice.
Like...
Little Women.
Like Logan.
No.
No. Like Monster House is a comfort movie.
I think A New Hope is a comfort movie.
A New Hope is a comfort movie. You know what else is a comfort movie?
You're going to say something stupid.
Up.
Oh. No. I disagree. I'm too emotionally charged by Up.
What does Neil think?
Neil doesn't have any thoughts. All Neil thinks is murder.
No. He's a sweet little guy. He's like Dumbo.
I didn't like Dumbo.
You don't like Dumbo?
The animated or the live action.
They did a live action Dumbo?
Yeah.
Wow.
They did a live action everything.
The more you know. True.
Yeah, Dumbo has that whole, like, freaky drunk scene.
Yeah,
ballet,
that's true.
Like, LSD scene. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I don't like Neil.
Yeah. Ooh, here's a great, oh my god, this is such out of left field. Remember when Hondo Ohnaka and Aura Singh had like a little thing going on?
I totally
It's like
forgot
one of
about
the
that.
grossest relationships ever.
Orsing's just gross.
She's foul. Yeah.
Hondo can do better.
Hondo could pull. Bro. Who is this woman? Anyways, Jen, looking at all these Star Wars relationships, what is some of your advice to some of our viewers based on these Star Wars relationships? What should we pick and choose as viewers as to what types of things we should aspire for? What types of things we should steer clear from?
Communication is key.
Don't make your partner jealous. Don't do it intentionally, I should say. Because sometimes I make Jen jealous with like how like rich and famous I am. You know?
Yeah.
And I have to like give her some of my money to like spread the wealth a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm like, please, can you buy me?
You can't buy me this?
Yeah, that's totally me. Oh my god, that was a spot on impression.
Quad pay?
Don't believe your dreams. Even if it's a Jedi vision, it's still just in your head and you're just that's called anxiety.
It's called anxiety.
So just like call a therapist, chat it out. It's all good. It's not your partner's fault that you are having anxiety dreams. Okay. You don't have to be hot to be in a good relationship.
True.
You could be green, but Hera's also super hot, so that advice
You could be Hondo.
kind of fell flat. You could be Zero the Hut.
And you could still. Love comes in all shapes and sizes.
It's true.
That's what Zai Sunul says.
Yes.
Yep.
What else?
Don't be afraid to put the person that you're in a relationship with and their wants for themselves and opportunities that they might have. Don't put your selfish feelings for them over that.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Chatting through what your aspirations are. And if they don't align, that's a deep conversation.
Yeah.
Because, you can have love and affection for other people. And if you don't align with your aspirations, then that's a conversation on what's going to give. And usually it's that relationship. And that's okay. Because there's probably someone else out there for you.
Not every relationship ending has to be a bad one. That doesn't have to be a bad ending.
No, it doesn't have to be a major death or sacrifice. No one has to be impaled.
No one has to be impaled.
You can just break up
choked.
And move on, and it's okay. You don't have to die of heartbreak while giving birth. That's not a requirement. Just wanted to throw that out there.
It's a good one. Yeah.
And choose unselfish love, and above all else.
Boom. This has been Relationships with Jen. Hopefully you all learned something today.
It was just a rant.
It was
Mostly just a rant. This is what Tom gets to hear every time we watch anything.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving me another outlet to do that.
Yes, and thank you, Jen, for coming up with this week's topic for the podcast. Thanks for sitting and listening to us yap for another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We've been appreciating you guys coming back and watching the Blitzcast every single week. Jen, do you have anything that you want to say before we close out this week's episode?
Just if you want me back, you gotta let him know, or else he'll keep me locked up.
Bro.
So please.
Blink 3 times if you need help. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching another episode of the Blitzcast. We're going to get some sleep because we have to wake up and hit the road. So thanks again for watching. You'll see this in now 5 hours. since we are ending this recording. Yeah, make sure to, again, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Check out all the links in the social media below in the description. And that's going to be all for this episode, guys. We'll catch you for the next episode of the Blitzcast. Just one more episode of the Blitzcast before we get into the Skibbity crew. So, very, very exciting. We'll catch you guys for the next one. And may the Force be with you.